Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to our Chetwynd Chamber of Commerce Mind Your Business Luncheon Series. We took a year off last year, and now we're back, and we have our first luncheon of the year regarding the construction of the new regional Dawson and District Hospital, which is wonderful. With I'm going to make sure I get it right. Graham Construction.
That's right.
So I saw this presentation in Dawson Creek a couple of months ago and figured this would be a wonderful opportunity to bring it to Chetwynd to have people understand what's going to be happening in our region. So this is really exciting to have you. And you didn't get called to Kelowna, which is wonderful. Yeah. So we're happy to have you here. Before we get started, before we have lunch, we have a program that BC Chamber is highly promoting right now. And we have a great partnership is at Export Navigator. And we have Russ Bierling, who's the regional network advisor, the Export Navigator advisor. So Russ is going to come up and give just a quick, in a nutshell, overview of the program and how you can use it for your business.
Thanks, Naomi. So, as we heard, my name is Russ Bierling. The BC government has put together this Export Navigator program. It's an initiative of the government, and it's to help take BC products and services across borders. So it's to bring revenue back to British Columbia. So export, the word is kind of confusing, and it doesn't really open a lot of doors in the north because people say, well, we don't export. But if you do business out of province in Alberta, Saskatchewan, or north, that's in the BC government's minds, that's considered exporting. So we can help you to reach those marketplaces. We work with business to expand out of your market, to diversify your customer base by reaching other markets. It'll help cover challenges like seasonal challenges you might have. Something that might sell really well in the summer in Chetwynd might not sell during the winter, but in other markets it might sell. So we look at helping you get across those other borders to other seasons, other places. We may find other businesses within our network of exporters that can assist you with your journey. So we'll find somebody within our network that maybe does the same thing as you or something similar to you. I've got a lady in Port John, I basically do chip stuff to Alberta. And I've got a chip guy that ships stuff across Canada, sells potato chips, and the upper state or northern state. So they've been communicating through us. We made that connection for them, and now she's looking at exporting stuff down to the south and getting into distribution centers as well. We have businesses as big as multi-million-dollar businesses, and we met with some ladies earlier this month that they do cosmetic stuff, and it's 2 ladies, and they export all over the world. So it's just 2 people. So it's a considerably smaller business. Any business is eligible as long as you're prepared to grow your business. And we can help you as an advisor. We can look at your business and try to help you figure out how to grow it, because sometimes you're stuck within the 4 walls of your business. And by the time you punch out at the end of the day, you really don't want to think about your business anymore. You are thinking about it, but you don't want to think about anything more than outside your 4 walls. Well, we can help you look at that and look at ways to help you do that successfully. So an advisor will help provide an assessment of your business export readiness. We'll spend hours giving you advice on how to export, and all of this stuff that I'm talking about is absolutely no charge. It's just the BC government's way of trying to generate more revenue for the province or in the province. We give you step-by-step guidance, and it's tailored. The guidance is tailored to your pace. So we're not going to go way over your head and have you say, I'm overwhelmed. We'll work with you at your pace. We'll help with your business growth strategy and with your planning. We'll make connections and information specific to your market and your industries, and we'll give you access to the most up-to-date resources for interprovincial and international exporting. And we'll also help you when you register with Export Navigator. We'll also help you find grant money. We'll find if there's anything out there that's available for you that's free or at a low price. We'll help you find that as well. So we're definitely keen to help you be successful. So one of our success stories was a company called Okanagan Crash Pad, and their unique labeling, with their unique labels, they produce 40,000 cases of wine per year. So they've created a legacy of delicious wines that showcase the beauty of the Okanagan. And with the help of one of our export navigators, Amber, down in the Okanagan, she helped them go internationally and be internationally recognized and expanded its reach to the United Kingdom and Scandinavia. We have a gentleman out of Dawson Creek. He owns a company that makes cleats, and we've helped him to export his cleats across the country. We've helped him get into trade shows in other countries in Canada, and he's exporting to Australia as one of his biggest markets right now. And his cleats, the unique story behind his cleats are the parts are manufactured in his plant in Dawson Creek, and they're sent out to seniors within the Peace region, and they actually put them together. So there's a kind of a unique story there as well.
Those ribs.
Yep. Ribs.
I own several pair.
And so Naomi's put flyers on your desks or on your tables there. And so if you decide that you are ready to look at exporting, but you're not quite there, there's a workbook that we would provide you, and it will ask you a bunch of questions to make you think about how to export and what position you're in for exporting, and then help you reach some of the goals and look at some of the goals that you want to achieve. So if you say I'm a $500,000 business and I want to be a $10 million business, we'll help you look at those goals and make them realistic. So, and I'll drop a card off on the table. I didn't bring any other materials because Naomi actually caught me just coming back from actually a Northern Health meeting. For George.
Process information at my office. Somebody needs my cards. And
But I do have cards, so I'll pass some cards if you're interested.
awesome.
Thanks very much.
Thank you. So we'll just in a few seconds we can go up and grab some good grub. Crazy Beans Bistro is one of our chamber members in a long time. Oh my goodness, it's been a long day. It's only new. She does all of our lunches. Caterer, that's what I look for. She's been a long time caterer of our lunches. Also on your table, and if you notice that there is a poster for next month's luncheon, which is going to be BC Hydro, and they're going to be coming to talk about the flooding of the reservoir for the Site C dam. And we'd like to thank our sponsors for our luncheons this year. So we reached out to be able to make sure that our members would be able to attend our luncheons and our guests at a reasonable rate. And for the next few months anyways, the chamber luncheons are going to be free for our members. Non-members or guests are going to be $20 each. And I'm going to make sure I name everybody just right. So we have Pomeroy Inn and Suites, who is our room sponsor, West Moberly First Nations, Lakeview Credit Union, Mike Bernier MLA, and Coastal GasLink and TC Energy. So they realize the importance of our chamber luncheons and being able to keep our members informed about the going-ons in our region and within our community. So if you're out and about and you see any of those folks, thank them for me for supporting us. So if anybody wants to grab some grub, and then when you're ready, just do the old throw at your tug and we'll get started.
Yeah. I know. I guess so. I know. I was nervous.
Right. Now that everybody's dug into their lunch and they've got mouthfuls of food, and welcome to work, BC. We'll have Dave Purporin come up and get started on his presentation.
I'll actually start us off. Like,
She's gonna.
are you gonna?
So
You gotta come click for me over here. Ooh. Just borrowing him for the day. Alrighty. And move these pens over here.
seconds, by all means, help yourself.
Alrighty. Well, welcome everyone. Thank you, Naomi, for inviting us to do this presentation today. We're very excited to share some information about the new Dawson Creek and District Hospital. So just a couple of housekeeping items. There's photo books on the tables. I told a couple of you already, but they're unfortunately not take-home items at the moment, so you can take a peek at them, but I do need to collect them at the end. But there are also copies of our fact sheets, so you're more than welcome to take those home. And I have extra copies as well if you'd like to bring some back to your coworkers. Okay, so we are building a new state-of-the-art hospital here, or not here, in Dawson Creek, a little north of here, to address current and future healthcare needs for the region. So the vision of the new hospital is to create a model of excellence in healthcare that incorporates modern best practices and standards. The new hospital will improve the healing environment and provide culturally safer care for residents of the Northeast. Patients, families, physicians, and staff will benefit from expanded services or expanded spaces and strengthened services. So flip to the next slide there. A little bit about the new facility. The new hospital will be approximately 24,500 square meters and have an increase of 24 beds. So there's a breakdown of the different beds here. 32 are for med-surg, 10 for convalescent care, 7 for maternity, 3 for the high acuity unit, and 18 for mental health. So the mental health service delivery is increasing from 15 beds to 18 beds, and Dawson Creek is the regional location for mental health services in the Northeast. The best feature about this new hospital is that all rooms are going to be single rooms with ensuite washrooms, so there's no doubling up in rooms anymore, which creates a lot more privacy for patients and families and reduces the spread of different infections and stuff like that. The emergency department is doubling in size, so the actual space of the department will be double the size, and then treatment spaces are increasing from 10 to 15, which is very exciting. There will be 2 operating rooms, 1 minor procedure room, and 1 endoscopy suite. And then there will also be over 300 parking stalls for patients, visitors, and staff, and parking will remain free at the new facility. So a quick overview about what the new hospital will entail. New moms and families will be supported through a perinatal unit, so moms will be able to labor, deliver, recover, and receive postpartum care all within the same room. There will also be a nursery in the unit for newborns. The new hospital will have a space for laboratory, diagnostic imaging, physical rehabilitation, and a range of surgical services. And the new hospital will improve regional pharmacy services that meet the new guidelines and requirements. There will also be a non-denominational spiritual room where people of all faiths and cultures can spend time to pray, meditate, and reflect and get away from the hospital environment. And this space can also be used for cultural practices such as smudging. So that's been incorporated into that space as well. We do also do a lot of consultative work with the local and regional partners throughout the design process. So we have a variety of working groups and committees that provide input on design. And then we work with key users from the clinical departments to provide input on clinical design. So where we've come from, there's a couple of photos on the side. I know Russ was at one of those events. Over the summer, we received the Stage 1 building permit from the city of Dawson Creek. We had a ground blessing ceremony with Elder Della Owens from Soto First Nations. Minister of Health Adrian Dix came to Dawson Creek to announce that the design-build agreement was executed with Graham. Following all of those exciting milestones, we had site preparation completed and the start of construction began very quickly. So the start of construction included bulk excavation, so that was completed in August and September. 56 cubic meters of material was removed from the site. And then we also recently completed a new temporary parking lot and poured a new sidewalk to connect the temporary parking lot for site workers to the site. So where we're at. We recently just launched the construction camera, so if you're ever curious about what's going on site, the link is on our Let's Talk website. You can pop on and see a snapshot of the different progress that's being made on the site. If you've been to Dawson Creek recently, you'll see the new tower crane. So the tower crane has been installed, and it has taken over the Dawson Creek skyline and will take it over for the next 16 months. So they're visible from all parts of the city. The second one will be going up in the next little bit here. And I wrote down a fun fact. So Tower Crane 1 is 165 feet tall, and Tower Crane 2 will be 135 feet tall. So massive tower cranes. I'm sure Dave has seen bigger, though, on his other projects. Currently, concrete's being poured for footings and foundation walls for the basement. And then this week, we are hosting a series of user consultation meetings. So this is where the users from the clinical departments come to provide feedback on clinical design. So we luckily got to sneak out of those today and come present to you guys. What's next? Throughout the winter, work will continue on the concrete superstructure. In early 2023, we'll receive the 95% design submissions. So for context, the design process is done in phases. It's about 30%, 60%, 95, and 100. So we kind of build on the design every phase of the way. Currently, we're at just 60% plus, and we're working towards 95 throughout these UCMs that we're hosting. In February, work will begin on the level 1 suspended slab, and Dave has more information about that in his section. Work will continue on the concrete superstructure next year. And then from a high-level perspective, we have a little timeline on the right there, or on the left there. Substantial completion will be achieved in fall 2026. So that means essentially that the building is complete and the keys and the site is handed over to Northern Health to begin transition planning, operation planning, and moving everyone over. The project will be complete in 2027, so construction, transition planning, everything will be done then, and then the facility will be open for patients in early 2027. And I do have a couple renderings, but like I said, there are photo books on the table, so we'll go through these fairly quickly. This is just a bird's eye view of the building, and for those of you who, can you just click that? Thank you. For those of you who don't know where it's located, this is the northwest corner of Northern Lights College property, so on the green field right by the college campus, and then that's the proximity to the current facility, so literally right next door. This is a public waiting area. This empty wall here is an opportunity for artwork throughout the new facility, so we'll consult with the local community on that in the future. This is the public information desk and registration area, so nice little private alcoves for registration. Just another public seating area, again, empty walls for artwork. The emergency department waiting area, which I think has changed a little bit. The entrance to the non-denominational spiritual room, so nice wood paneling to make it feel like a natural space and not like a clinical setting. And there's a little cutout on the wall there, which is another space for artwork and artifacts. And then inside the non-denominational spiritual room, again, just a very nice environment for people to go and get away from hospital settings. I know when you're in a facility like that, you just want to go and find somewhere peaceful. So it's very natural looking. And again, those two little alcoves in the back for art. Elevator lobby. So this is the same concept on each floor. This is just level 1. But again, the casing on the left is for artwork and artifacts. And then they look similar throughout the facility as well. And then lastly, this is the typical inpatient room. So the private room, space for families to sit over there, visitors. The colors may change a little bit, but that's pretty much what they'll look like, hopefully. And then I'll pass it off to Dave to go through his section of the presentation. Oops.
Okay, thanks. As Ashley mentioned, my name is Dave Corcoran. I'm the Vice President for Graham Construction, and in this case, we're actually the design builders on this project. So she talked about user group meetings that are currently taking place. Those are with all the clinical staff, maintenance staff, logistics staff, anyone that basically will work in that hospital. We meet with them and go through each of the departments that impact them, walk through the drawings, make sure they're happy with the function of the building, where the doors are, what's in the rooms, where the millwork is. We're getting pretty granular because we're working past what we call 60% drawings, which is typically design development drawings, and we're working towards what we call 95% drawings. Those are called construction documents. So we're basically, we know where all the rooms are, we know what the building looks like, we know what the inside layout is, we just don't know exactly how the inside of the rooms are going to look. And that's where we need input, because we're not the ones that are going to be spending our days in those rooms. So it's very important that we meet with them. So we're doing 2 full weeks of meetings to get us to that next stage. And we are, as I said, we are the design builder. So the architects on a lot of construction projects would work for the owner. In this case, they work for Graham. We're in charge of managing them. We give them direction. We make sure that they're doing everything that's compliant with the what we call the statement of requirements. So we manage that process. And we find that that works fairly well. Of course, the authority and the client, the hospital group in this case, gives us all of the input that we need, but they don't have to worry about managing all the designers and engineers and architects, and trust me, they probably don't want to. So we take care of that for them. So this is the layout. And one thing you'll notice, lots of parking, lots of surface parking. I've done quite a few hospitals, and that's always a premium, is the parking. So they were very fortunate that they got a large site from Northern Lights College, and it gave them the opportunity to have ample parking without having to go to parkades or anything like that. The structure itself is in the middle, as you can see, with the loading docks off to the right-hand side there. Sorry, maybe go back. I'll just mention here. So we have emergency drop-off on the west side, along with the ambulance bays, and lots of natural landscaping. There'll be some seating areas off to the far right where people can go and relax, enjoy a bit of nature, have some plantings. Again, as Ashley mentioned, you know, when you're in these hospital settings, I always tell people it's either the best day of your life or the worst of your life quite often. So we have brand new babies being born here, and that's so exciting and wonderful. And we have people that get great treatment and they come out of things and, you know, they're on their way to being healthy. But we also have people obviously that are having a much harder time, or they're here for their final days. So it's interesting that we can incorporate a little bit of nature in the design, and a place for people to get away from everything and relax. And the non-denominational room is one of those areas, but the outside is very important to part of that healing process. Exterior elevations. I don't have lots to say. It's essentially a 3-story facility. The Exterior of the building is predominantly going to be a metal cladding, like a type of insulated metal panel. We do have very, very high energy efficiency requirements in this facility. We're R50 on the roof, for those of you that know a little bit about insulation. It's a lot of insulation. We have 12 inches of insulation going in on the roof, and the walls are all minimum of R30. So it'll be a very highly energy efficient structure. We'll go on. Again, at elevation, showing the lower ramp down to the loading dock for all the logistical supplies. It's tucked down, so it's a bit out of the way, so the semis that are sitting there unloading or the trucks that are unloading won't be that noticeable. They're kind of hidden down in the lower part of the structure, and we have fencing along the left side on this drawing that'll sort of hide that. And yeah, the rest of the structure, the colors are just representative now. We still have to go through a selection process on the colors, but these are a few that were thrown up there to show a bit of contrast. This is a 3D view. We do all of our design in BIM, Building Information Management System, so it's all 3D. You can actually walk through the model and walk through the hospital as we're designing it, so it's pretty neat. But this is just a 2D representation of the model. What I wanted to show here was that it's predominantly a concrete structure, 3 stories of concrete, and then the final roof structure is structural steel, and that's the mental health area, and then on the far side where it gets a little bit higher, that's where all of our major mechanical equipment will go. So that's the only part of it that's really structural steel. I've had a few people approach me saying, Dawson gets cold. You sure you're gonna be able to build through the winter? So I can assure you we've built lots of structures through the winter. We've done lots of work up north, and we have an office right in Edmonton. So we're very familiar with northern construction. The way we're going to do it in this case, it's different on every job. Some jobs are easier because they're a pile job. This job, we've actually excavated down a whole level below grade. And that's because there was expansive clays and we had to get rid of them anyways. So the decision was made to put a basement down there and utilize that big hole that we had to dig anyways. And because of that though, our concrete foundations are on clay. And in order to keep them from freezing through the winter, and we're in the process of pouring these now, you'll see in here, these orange circles are representing glycol lines. So much like if you have in-floor heating, where you have pipes in your floor and you run glycol through it to heat your floor, we're doing that in the ground. So we're putting glycol lines in. We'll be doing that, actually we're just starting to do that now. And we'll put some fill over top of them, and then we'll heat the ground up the entire winter with our glycol heating system to keep the foundations from getting frost underneath them and potentially heaving. So that's the last thing we need. And then ultimately, we're only doing 300 millimeters or 12 inches this time of year. We're going to come back in the spring. We'll do 2 more feet. This is a layer of radon rock and then vapor radon barrier. And then ultimately, our slab on grade will be poured here. But that won't happen until next summer. Another thing we're doing, because we're in a fairly remote location, Dawson Creek, and it's hard to get workers to not just come here, it's also expensive to get workers to come to work. So we do as much as we can off-site. So we're prefabricating the large components of the facility. This is what we call multi-trade racks. And basically we build a steel frame structure, and inside of it we put all the ductwork, all the piping, all the electrical that you'd normally see up in the corridor of a hospital. I'm sure most people here have not seen up inside a corridor of a hospital, but it's full. It's literally jam-packed full. It's like looking under the hood of a BMW nowadays. Like there's no room for anything. It's just packed. And half of the structure on a hospital is below the ceiling and the other half is above the ceiling. So when you walk into the new hospital, what you see is half of the building. The other half is all above the ceiling space. And it's very expansive. And the reason for that is we need a lot of room for the ductwork. We have a lot of requirements for air conditioning, and yes, it is air conditioned. Someone asked me that the other day. It is air conditioned facility. And obviously lots of air exchanges. If there's germs, we want to get rid of them. We want to be able to isolate areas if there's an outbreak. So there's lots of ductwork, also lots of communications and electrical wiring, obviously. So we build a steel frame off-site. They'll be built in Vancouver. Inside of them will be all the ductwork, all the VAV valves, all the piping, everything. They'll shrink wrap the whole thing. Oh, sorry, even the drywall. Like here you'll see that's the steel stud, and that's the back side of the inside of the drywall. The louvers go through the the drywall or the dampers, fire dampers, everything gets sealed. It's all tested, hydraulically tested. And then the whole thing, once it passes inspection and all the testing, will be shrink wrapped, like the big white shrink wrap you see around boats a lot of times. Shrink wrap them all, put them on flat deck trucks, and we'll ship them up here. And then we'll lift them up with a crane, we'll roll them onto the floor into position, and then we hoist them up into the ceiling, and then we bolt them to embeds that we'll have inside on the underside of our suspended slabs. And that's how we'll do the bulk of the servicing inside the facility. Again, this is primarily in the corridors or only in the corridors, and then we have work to do in the rooms, but the work in the individual rooms is only a small fraction of what has to go in the corridors. So this saves us time, it's safer, otherwise you're working at height at 5 meters. It's safer, it's quicker, it's more cost effective, and it saves us time because while we're doing the concrete structure, they're going to be building these in Vancouver. They don't have to wait for us to be done. So as soon as we're done the concrete structure, they can ship them out and we can put them in place. So it's much quicker. This is another view of the multi-trade rack system. So it shows the 2 racks. In the middle, we have to do an infill, right? The racks don't fit together and mate. So there'll be a small section of, I think it's about 4 feet in between each of the racks, and those will be finished on site. And there's a cross section through it showing the rack and then the ceiling below. And as I was saying, half the structure is above the ceiling and half is below. So when you walk in the hospital, you're only going to see up to here. This is the suspended ceiling, but we have all this above here that goes in. I was asked to talk about some of the contracting opportunities that are available, not just for locally, but provincially. Some of them are in Alberta, some of them are local. These are the awards we've already made. Cladding, and that was awarded to a company in Edmonton. The concrete formwork was also a company in Edmonton. Concrete supply is local to Dawson Creek. That's Heidelberg Aggregates. They're very happy with us because we're doing 14,000 cubic meters with them over the next year, and their normal yearly volume is about 10 or 11,000. So they're getting a good year. Doors and frames out of Calgary, electrical out of Vancouver, elevators out of Vancouver. Excavation and civil is some Dawson local work. Quite a bit of it's local to Dawson. And then the main contractor is out of, he has offices in Prince George, Fort St. John, and Vancouver, and Kamloops, I believe. And then mechanicals out of the lower mainland. The mechanical electrical, there's only a few contractors that can actually do a job of this size anywhere in BC. We actually often have to look all the way out to Ontario or Alberta. There's only a few of them that can do. They're quite large contracts, over $100 million for those subcontractors. Reinforcing steel is local to Dawson, Canada Steel. Roofing is the same company as the cladding out of Edmonton. Steel studs and drywall are lower mainland. Waterproofing is Edmonton as well. And windows is all the same company again with the cladding and the roofing out of Edmonton. So we try to award wherever we can local. The reality is that this job is so large that there's not a lot of local contractors that can do the larger scopes, but I'll get into some of the smaller ones that we have the opportunity for more local work. And these are some of the ones that are upcoming. I won't go over them all, but certainly things like fencing, caulking, masonry is likely going to be fairly local to the area. We're talking to people in Prince George, and there's also someone in Fort St. John. Miscellaneous metals, we get local fab shops to do a lot of that stuff for us. Overhead doors, painting, we still have to tender. I don't know where they're going to come from. Site concrete is local. We've already hired someone to do some of that work. And the window coverings could potentially be fairly local. Some of these we haven't finalized yet who we're going to. We like to go to the market, and once we see there's interest in the area, and then we'll include them on our bid list when we put these out to tender. Other opportunities that we have, again, this is mostly going to be local. Bulk propane supply. We've had some people talk to us already about that. We're predominantly using natural gas throughout the site for heating, but there is a lot of the equipment that is propane because it's more maneuverable. So we have a lot of bulk propane requirements. Catering is, we'll hire local people to do that work for us. Courier service, and when I say courier, I mean a lot of it's hot shot. We might need something out of Grand Prairie in a hurry, or out of Fort St. John, or out of Prince George. So we use hot shot services to get us equipment when we need it on short notice. Equipment rentals, quite a few rental companies. We're working with people in Fort St. John and Dawson Creek right now, as well as Grand Prairie. Lumber supply is local. Mobile cranes are local. Security, we're hiring a local. We haven't hired all of these yet. We're talking to some people. Some of it we don't need yet. But security, we have interest from a few local companies to provide security services. And then snow clearing, again, we're going to look to go local. And I hope we don't get snow right away, but I think it might be on its way from looking at the forecast. I was kind of hoping it would stay away until about March and then snow for 2 days and then melt. But Ashley said that's not likely going to happen.
Yeah.
That's what she said. Yeah. Yeah. I grew up in Thompson, Manitoba, so I'm used to the north. I get it. And that's it. Other than that, I guess I'd like to say that we do have a large workforce that's going to be here, so it's a big boost to the whole economy of the area. Obviously, the biggest impact's in Dawson Creek, but there's lots of spin-off. We'll have about 350 to 375 workers, even with all the work that's happening off-site. We'll still have about that size of workforce. So you can imagine what that brings to the communities in terms of just even hotels, rentals, food, all of our local supplies we need. It is a big influx of people and a big economic boost for the whole region. And again, our interest is wherever we can, we want to hire local. So if you guys do have an interest in any of this stuff that you're interested in looking at, there's a website here you can get a hold of me at. You can just send it over to our email address there. And that's how we're getting people to approach us. And then if you have a service that you're interested in providing and we think that it fits well, then we'd get a hold of you and allow you to talk to us about giving us some pricing or doing some of that work. And then Ashley has her email address. If you have any general questions about the hospital, you can certainly forward them to her. And if she needs me to help with an answer, she's only right across the road, so we can get together. And that's it. So I don't know if you got any questions about the construction at all. Oh,
Construction, but what's gonna happen to the old hospital?
that's an Ashley question.
So the current hospital, unfortunately, most likely will go away. Plan for this hospital project is to redevelop the current facility, and it was just so poor in its facility condition index that it just couldn't be redeveloped. It would have cost more to renovate than it would to build new. So it'll be up to the ministry to decide what happens with that plot of land. They might deem it fit for something else, and yeah, it'll have to be decided in the future.
Okay.
Yeah, but most likely it'll go away.
Rumor mill, it's gonna be this, it's gonna be this.
Yeah. People want detox centers, but unfortunately, once Northern Health is done with it, it'll be passed on to the Ministry of Health and then within the government.
So with the closure, the recent closure of local media outlets such as the Dawson Creek Mirror and the Alaska Highways News, which after 90 years and 80 years, and as background breaks my little heart, but I get it. How are you guys getting your information out to look for quotes, et cetera, to reach people that you need to reach? Are you sticking strictly to social media, or what's your communications?
Yeah, so I guess my communication plan, the Let's Talk website, we're really trying to build awareness of amongst the community. It's literally our home for all information about the project updates. We have a quarterly newsletter that goes out that you can add your email to, photos of progress, there'll be videos and stuff in the future. So it's our one-stop shop for everything related to the project. But as for, I guess, promoting the project, Northern Health has community groups. We tend to post stuff in the Chetwynd Northern Health Facebook group, as well as the Dawson Creek and Fort St. John. And then this Northern Health main social media page. We have looked at different advertising opportunities. So if you go through Tim Hortons on Alaska Highway in a few weeks, there might be a poster there for the project. So
Contact local chambers of commerce, we have that too.
trying to come up with different avenues of marketing and advertising, and we had an advertisement in the Dawson Creek exhibition guide this year, and just different ways. So it'll vary over the next year, different avenues that we can connect with the community.
It'll definitely be a little bit different.
Yeah, it will be.
Yeah, and the best way for us is again our email address there, and that's whether it's employment at a trade level or craft level or a business opportunity. We've had both come through that site. So, and we've hired a whole bunch of local people already, and we've hired a bunch of, as I mentioned, a bunch of local businesses already too. So, okay, thanks. Yeah.
You guys really So thank you so much for sharing this information with us. We really, really appreciate you coming out and having your busy schedules to actually be our first luncheon back as well. And
So yes, as I said, for next month, Site C is going to be here for the Site C Clean Energy Project to talk about the flooding of the reservoir. So we just got the posters made today. So if you guys want to RSVP to that, that's fine. Again, thanks to our sponsors, luncheons are free for our members. Guests are $20, just helps to cover the extra costs. We hope to see you all next month. So thank you so much. And yeah, if you guys have questions or anything about Network Air Export Navigator, reach out to Russ, reach out to us. We have information as well. And then grab your phones, take a picture of the screen so you have that information to get hold of them. So yeah, thanks so much. We'll see you next month.
Hi, I'm Jillian McDonald, local Tim Hortons owner for Chetwynd. And it's camp day, and all of our proceeds from hot and iced coffee go to the Tim's Foundation camps. At the restaurants locally, we're doing a bunch of different incentives. Pick a sucker for a chance to win a prize. We are doing toss a toonie for prizing, as well as selling Camp Day bracelets and Camp Day socks. So in the 30-year history of Camp Day, we have nationally raised $225 million and helped send over 300,000 kids to camp between the ages of 12 and 16. Come on down to your local Tim Hortons, or if you're in Chetwynd, come see us. We have police officers washing windows in the drive-through lane, which is always a fun time. Please come and help us send a kid to camp.
It'll all go on if we're here or not, so who cares? So what? So who cares? So what? You asked me, is it fine to cry over nothing? It is! I'm breaking down.
Why
red raisins.
Stormy on rye with a sour pickle. My personal puss on a wooden nickel.
Look at me, I'm the king of New York. Suddenly, I'm respectable, staring right at you, lousy with stature, knowing with all the marketing box.
July 16th was a day filled with smiles, free food, and public arrests. All for a good cause, of course. The annual Cops for Cancer Jail and Bail was in full swing. Constable Lennon Cruz, the organizer of the event, gave us a little history.
So this event got started by Leo Sobolski, and it's been running in Chetwynd for a number of years. I can't tell you how far back, and it was something that he loved, and he just loved providing, being a sponsor for Cops for Cancer and cancer research for children.
This year hit a little closer to home since the original event organizer, Leo Sobolski, tragically passed away from the disease earlier this month. We spoke to Constable Cruz and Peace FM's very own Peyton McCulloch about Leo and his immense impact on the community.
Yeah, so Leo is a great person. I know this community loves him, and I think he's going to be missed. And he's a great promoter of this event, and just a great person. I know for myself, he got me trained as a Zumba instructor, and that was something that he wanted to bring Zumba to his community, and he just everything that he did, the guy didn't know how to say no, so no one can say no to him because he just found a way to get it done. So even in doing this event, everything that I had to put together, from getting donations from Fresh Mart and IGA, and so everybody that has contributed, I'm really thankful for everything that's how the community's come around that. And Leo has been a big part of that because this is being done in memory of him.
Leo Sobolski was a huge person in my life. Got me this job here at Peace FM, and has also helped me get into college. So I owe him a lot in my life. And even though I weeded his garden, and his weeds were about my height for multiple days, and grabbing dog poop and the stuff that I did, it was worth it, and I get to do this awesome job that I get to be on television and doing radio. It's, I think, the best thing to do.
Give it to council.
Mayor Alan Coutrie participated in the event. He even had chains wrapped around his neck. He explained the reason he wanted to be arrested was to remember Leo and participate in something greater than himself.
Because the prospects of Chetwynd look really good, and the great cause is for Cops for Cancer. And right now we're being touched by the community, by our great friend Leo Sobolski, who succumbed to cancer. And this opportunity for me to contribute by participating in something that's greater than just myself. I really appreciate people that go out of their way to support these things, and I'm just a small part of it. I'm nothing more than just a person like everybody else, and this is why I do stuff like this.
Chetwynd may be a small community, but the people were more than ready to open their hearts and their wallets for this event. Whether it was participating in the jail and bail, donating money for bail, or just hanging out and having a good laugh, it's clear to see that this year's jail and bail was a huge success.
And we'll go up further. Is just up the hill here is where my grandma Marceline lived, where I lived and was raised. I'm trying to figure out today, I think we moved here in 1960. Everybody, we squatted up here. Nobody owned their properties. My grandma, for extra dollars, she used to make hides every day. All my life I could remember her making hides. As you can see on the one video, this is what she did for extra dollars.
Well, I don't know as it is really a band, but we just get together and play together. So anytime when people would come over to visit, we would just pull out the instruments and start playing. Dad would be on the fiddle, Joanne on the piano, Levine on the guitar. I was usually pretty small then. So anyway, Clem, he learned to play the piano, and well, he plays lots of things. Yeah, no, whenever we get together, it's just always been music. There's nothing like music. Life wouldn't be the same without music. Well, I don't know as it is really a band, but we just get together and play together. So anytime when people would come over to visit, we would just pull out the instruments and start playing. Dad would be on the fiddle, Joanne on the piano, Levine on the guitar. I was usually pretty small then. So anyway, Clem, he learned to play the piano, and well, he plays lots of things. Yeah, no, whenever we get together, it's just always been music. There's nothing like music. Life wouldn't be the same without music.
While many kids may or may not realize it right away, this stage of their journey is crucial. It's at this level where they can begin to develop the type of habits that will determine if this sport will become a lifelong hobby or a professional career.
Who's usually the fastest?
Easton.
I hear you're fast, man. Is that true? Why are you so fast?
While having a winning mentality and being fast are great building blocks to a rider's success, every now and then, every sport sees an athlete whom God has also gifted with vision.
Take me through the track. What do you remember of the track?
The starting line, you go the straight stretch, a corner, little straight stretch, corner, straight stretch, corner, table, corner, table, table, corner, single, triple, single, corner, tabletop, straight stretch, corner, table, tabletop, corner, step down, whoops, step up, corner, triple, corner, finish line.
Which is Red Dress Day, and it's the day to honor our missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls and Two-Spirited people. Red Dress Day was started by Jamie Black. She was hanging red dresses in the trees of her community to represent those that we've lost and to bring awareness.
Is there anyone personally in the community here that we know that we've lost, and I guess through any of the highways or anything like that? Do you know?
Yes, quite a few, and some very close to our family here at Tansy Friendship Center.
Sorry to hear that. And so have you guys always usually been doing something for it since it began to be recognized?
Yes, we try to make some event in whatever form it looks like each year here at Tansy. In the past, we've done drumming on the front stairs. I think this was our first year for a long time doing the walk.
Why did you guys choose to do the walk?
This year we chose to do a walk because we were thinking of different ways to make awareness, have our voices heard, and actually Jeanette went to training and learned how to make that big banner that you saw. So we put all the stories, which are the words, on that banner, and we wanted to show the whole community.
Okay, and then tell me about the small little dolls.
Oh yes, the Faceless Doll Project. So that was actually started by the Native Women's Association of Canada in 2012. Now back in 2012, there was an estimated 600 women and girls missing across Canada. Unfortunately, we don't know the accurate number, but we're looking at over 4,000. So the dolls represent these women who've become faceless victims of crime, and no two dolls are the same, and each one is a story. It's a statistic.
And did the community sort of partake here to make their own doll?
We did. We sent some kits out to our schools in the community. We showcased them at 10 businesses across the town. We got close to 200, which was really amazing.
Remember me, when the sun comes up in the morning sky, there I will be, me, soaring with the eagle so high, feeling free. Remember me, down the road, hand in hand, you and me. Hey-oh, hey-oh, hey-oh. Hello, hey, 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 hey,